And Marcus actually killed Alicia because she found out that he was secretly gay.
Alicia reportedly locks herself in a bedroom. Marcus told officers he broke down the door, found Alicia crawling out of the bedroom window before he opened fire.
Now, his wife at the time had been on that "Whose Man Is This" page from the Grand Rapids area. She posted her husband's picture in there. A bunch of men had been stating that they had had affairs with him. She had went live on Facebook, basically exposed all of it and everything that she had found on that "Is This Your Man's?"
I just want the court to know that this guy is a piece of garbage.
I'm about to tell you about a woman who found a video of her husband getting freaky with another man on Facebook, exposed his lies, filed for divorce, and got 15 bullets for her trouble. 7 of them straight to the head. Now, these down-low men don't just lie about their relationships. They make it impossible for women to leave after finding out. Is this some kind of cult mentality? Or are these men just as terrified of living their truth? Alicia Lofton was married for exactly 6 months when she discovered her husband's secret life through a Facebook video that went viral. Instead of just signing the divorce papers like a grown man, Marcus decided murder was the better option. This fool just got sentenced on August 7th. That's 4 days ago, after spending 2 years trying to convince everyone that shooting your wife 15 times while she's climbing out a window was somehow an accident. But here's what's really gonna piss you off about this case. Marcus had been posting cryptic messages about his relationship ending if he got locked up. Was this man literally manifesting his own downfall, or do these down-low husbands secretly want to get caught, so they don't have to do the hard work of being honest? Before we dive into this mess, you're on TikTok Crimes. We cover what happens when social media fame turns fatal. TikTok stars, Instagram couples, Facebook influencers. When their posts become crime scenes, we break down exactly what went wrong. These aren't just viral stories. These are real murders, real victims. Subscribe right now if you want the truth behind the trending hashtags, because by the time something goes viral, somebody's usually already dead. Here's what happened. This whole tragedy went down in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now, if you've never been to Grand Rapids, it's not exactly the murder capital of America. You know? It's one of those mid-sized cities where people move to raise families. Safe neighborhoods, good schools, the kind of place where a domestic shooting makes front-page news because it doesn't happen every day. But here's the thing about domestic violence. It doesn't care what your zip code looks like. And Alicia Lofton was about to learn that the hard way. Alicia Danielle Lofton was 38 years old and everything you'd want in a mother. I'm talking about the kind of woman who showed up for everything. School plays, sporting events, parent-teacher conferences. If her kids were involved, Alicia was there. She had 3 children from a previous relationship, and these kids were her world. Her oldest daughter was finishing up college. Can you imagine being that proud? Watching your baby girl walk across that stage. Her son had just graduated high school and was headed to Grand Valley State University. The youngest was still in high school, probably thinking about prom and graduation and all those milestones every mom dreams of being there for.
My oldest niece is graduating college next year, and her mom's not going to be there. She's going to be looking in the crowd to see her mom. It's going to suck that my nephew isn't going to Grand Valley for his first year, and he's looking for his mom to be there. It's going to suck for my youngest niece in high school, who's not going to have her mom to pick out her prom dress.
Alicia wasn't just surviving as a single mom. She was thriving. But like a lot of women, she wanted more than just being mom. She wanted partnership. She wanted love. She wanted someone to build a life with. And that's where Marcus Duraal Lofton comes into the story. Now Marcus was 42 years old when he married Alicia. And here's the first red flag we need to talk about. This man had been convicted of gun and drug felonies in 2000, 2002, and 2014. That's 3 separate times the system had to deal with Marcus and his poor life choices. But here's what's wild. Alicia probably thought she knew him well enough. Sometimes when you're looking for love, you convince yourself that people have changed, that their past doesn't define them. And maybe Marcus had changed. Or maybe he'd just gotten better at hiding who he really was. February 2023. Alicia and Marcus tied the knot. 6 months. Y'all, they were married for exactly 6 months before this man showed his true colors. I want you to think about that for a second. 6 months into what should be the honeymoon phase. And we're already talking about protection orders and murder. Those first few months, everything probably seemed fine. New marriage energy, blended family dynamics, trying to make it all work. Alicia's kids were adjusting to having a stepdad. Marcus was playing the role of family man. But by May 2023, just 3 months into their marriage, Marcus put his hands on Alicia. And I don't mean a little argument that got heated. I mean the police got called, he got arrested, and a judge had to issue a no-contact order telling this man to stay away from his own wife. Let me ask you something. If your husband of 3 months beats you so badly that you need court protection, what are you supposed to do? Start over again? Try counseling? Or admit that you married a dangerous man and get the hell out? Here's where our story takes a turn that's gonna make your head spin. While Alicia's trying to figure out if her marriage is salvageable, she makes a discovery that changes everything. There's this Facebook page called Whose Man Is This? And if you've never heard of it, it's exactly what it sounds like. Women post videos and photos exposing cheating men. It's like a public service announcement for the sisterhood.
Now, his wife at the time had been on that Whose Man Is This page from the Grand Rapids area. Basically, there's a Facebook page that you can see if you're dating the same guy. Now, you would think that she would do it before she got married, but nonetheless, maybe she had some sneaky suspicions about him, and that's what prompted her to go look for that page. Now, the person states in the screenshot, and you could pause to read it, that when she posted her husband's picture in there, a bunch of men had been stating that they had had affairs with him.
Now, I need y'all to understand something here. This isn't about Marcus being attracted to men. If that's who you are, live your truth. The problem is the lying, the deception. The fact that he married this woman, knowing damn well he was living on the down low. So here's Alicia, looking at video evidence that her 3-month marriage was built on a complete lie. Her husband, the man who'd already put his hands on her once, had been out here living his authentic life while keeping her trapped in a fake one. She confronted him. Of course she did. Wouldn't you? You've got proof right there on your phone that everything you thought you knew about your life was wrong. But here's where Alicia made a choice that probably saved other women from the same fate. She didn't just confront him privately. She took it public, posted about it on Facebook, let the world know that Marcus Lofton had been living a double life.
Another person had corroborated it and said that she had went live on Facebook before she removed her page. Basically exposed all of it and everything that she had found on that Is This Your Man's Grand Rapids edition.
Now, some of y'all might be thinking she should have handled this quietly, kept it between them. But here's the thing. Marcus had already shown he was violent. He'd already been arrested for putting his hands on her. Going public might have been the smartest thing she could do. Because now there was a record, evidence, a paper trail. August 16, 2023. Alicia served Marcus with divorce papers. 6 months of marriage and she was done. Can you blame her? The The man had lied about who he was, beaten her and humiliated her. Time to cut her losses and move on with her life. But here's what Alicia didn't know. Here's what she couldn't have predicted. Marcus wasn't planning to let her walk away. See, for men like Marcus, being exposed is worse than being violent. Having their secrets out in the open is more terrifying than facing the consequences of their actions. And Marcus had already decided that if he couldn't control the narrative, he'd control something else. He'd control whether Alicia lived or died. August 17th, 2023. The day after Alicia served those divorce papers. Now, remember, Marcus had a no-contact order from that May domestic violence arrest. This man was legally forbidden from being anywhere near his wife. But at 8 a.m., broad daylight, y'all, Marcus drove straight to Alicia's house on Union Avenue. Now here's my question. What kind of conversation were you planning to have, sir? Because last time you all talked, the police had to get involved. Marcus later told police he just wanted to collect his belongings. At 8 in the morning, without calling first, while violating a court order. Make it make sense because that math ain't adding up. So Marcus shows up, and of course, they start arguing. Shocking, right? The man whose secret life just got aired out for the whole world to see is upset that his wife wants a divorce. Here's where this gets interesting, though. Marcus told police he grabbed Alicia's gun, her gun, from a drawer to hit her with it. Not to shoot her, mind you. Just to hit her. With a loaded Glock. Like that's somehow better? And then, this is where his story gets real creative. He claims the gun just went off. Oops. Accident. Could happen to anybody, right? Wrong. Because here's what actually happened next. And this is where Marcus showed exactly what kind of monster he really was. When that first shot fired, whether it was an accident or not, Alicia knew she was in trouble. This woman's survival instincts kicked in hard. She ran to the bedroom and locked the door behind her. Now, some of y'all might be thinking, why didn't she run out of the house? But here's the thing about domestic violence. When you're trapped with someone who's already violent, sometimes the only escape route you can see is whatever's closest. And for Alicia, that was the bedroom window. She's in that room, probably hearing Marcus on the other side of that door, knowing that thin piece of wood is the only thing between her and a man who's already fired a gun. So she makes a choice. She's gonna climb out that window and run for her life. But Marcus wasn't done. This man kicked down that bedroom door. Not opened it, not picked the lock, kicked it down. And when he got inside, there's Alicia, halfway out the window, trying to save her own life. Any normal person would have stopped right there, would have realized they'd gone too far, would have let her go and dealt with the consequences like an adult. Instead, Marcus raced that gun and shot her. Not once, not twice, 15 times. 7 of those bullets went straight to her head. Let me paint this scene for you. A woman crawling through a window, probably calling for help, probably begging for her life. And this man just kept pulling that trigger, over and over and over again, until he was sure she couldn't expose any more of his secrets. Now, after this execution, because that's what it was, Marcus gets on the phone with police and tries to play victim. Claims it was self-defense. Claims the gun just kept going off by accident. Sir, guns don't accidentally fire 15 times. That's not how physics works. You had to pull that trigger 15 separate times while this woman tried to escape. There's nothing accidental about that. But here's the part that's gonna make you want to throw something. Marcus told investigators he shot Alicia numerous times before he fled in his maroon SUV. Numerous times. Like he couldn't even be bothered to count how many bullets he put in his wife's body. After murdering Alicia, this coward jumped in his car and drove off like he'd just finished grocery shopping. Left her body lying in the grass next to the house where her children were supposed to feel safe. Meanwhile, neighbors are calling 911 because they heard what sounded like a war zone outside their windows. Multiple gunshots in broad daylight in a residential neighborhood. Yeah, that tends to get people's attention. And here's something that's gonna stick with me. Those neighbors described hearing, arguing before the gunshots, which means people knew something was wrong. They could hear this situation escalating. But what are you supposed to do? Run outside while someone's shooting? Grand Rapids police didn't have to look far for Marcus. This genius didn't exactly plan his getaway very well. They spotted him driving around and immediately gave chase. Now I'm gonna ask you all something. If you really believed you acted in self-defense, if you really thought those 15 shots were justified, would you run from the police? Or would you stay at the scene and explain what happened? Because running after shooting someone 15 times, that doesn't exactly scream, I was protecting myself. They caught Marcus pretty quickly. And when they arrested him, you know what this man did? Started talking immediately. No lawyer, no, I want to remain silent. Just started confessing to everything. He told them about the divorce papers. He told them about grabbing the gun. He told them about breaking down the door. He told them about shooting Alicia numerous times while she tried to escape. The only thing he didn't tell them was the truth about why he really did it. Because the truth, that he'd rather murder his wife than let the world know he'd been living a lie, doesn't exactly make you look sympathetic. While Marcus was getting booked into Kent County Jail, Alicia's family was getting the worst phone call of their lives.
Her best friend called me and was literally hysterical. And I jumped up, what's going on, what's wrong? And she said, my sister is gone. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, like I just talked to my sister a couple days ago. What are you talking about? I get here, she's already gone. She loved her kids, make sure her kids was intact and ordered before she did anything.
Her children, the ones who were supposed to start school in a few weeks, now had to process the fact that their mother was gone. Not from an accident, not from an illness, but because their stepfather decided her life was worth less than his reputation. And here's what's really gonna get you fired up. Marcus sat in that jail cell for almost 2 years before this case even went to trial. 2 years of appeals and delays and legal maneuvering while Alicia's family waited for justice. But don't worry, Marcus was about to find out that claiming 15 gunshots were an accident is a pretty hard sell to a jury of your peers. March 2025. Almost 2 years later, this case finally goes to trial. Marcus's own confession, 15 gunshot wounds, a woman shot while climbing through a window. Should be open and shut, right? Wrong. Hung jury. 12 people couldn't agree that shooting your wife 15 times is murder. I don't know what was going through those jurors' minds, but apparently numerous times while she tried to escape wasn't clear enough. But here's where it gets interesting. After that mistrial embarrassment, Marcus suddenly wasn't so confident about his accident story. July 2025, this man takes a plea deal. Second-degree murder, 25 to 50 years. Wait, if those shots were really accidental, why not fight it again? Because Marcus knew that story was never gonna survive another jury. August 7th, 2025, 4 days ago. Marcus finally faced Alicia's family in that Kent County courtroom. Arthur Joseph, Alicia's father, stood up and delivered the truth.
Court to know that this guy is a piece of garbage. My daughter introduced me to this guy one time, and I didn't like him from minute one.
Then Alicia's aunt Jennifer Lee served up some real tea. She'd been watching Marcus's social media during the marriage, and he'd posted calling himself a narcissist. Her response? He proved it. He proved that he was a narcissist.
The day that I found out she was gone, I felt like my legs collapsed. I feel that he wasn't introduced to the family because he's an embarrassment.
Marcus chose not to speak. After all that talking to police, when it came time to face the family he destroyed, this coward had nothing to say. Judge Scott Noto let the father have the final word.
Judge Scott A. Noto left Lofton with a brief statement before he was taken away.
I don't have anything further to say, Mr. Lofton. I think Mr. Joseph said it best, so I refer you to his words.
Translation: yeah, you're garbage, and we all know it. Here's what this case really teaches us. These down-low men don't just lie. They create death traps. When their fake lives get exposed, they'd rather commit murder than face embarrassment. Marcus had been posting cryptic messages about relationships ending when you get locked up. Was this man manifesting his own downfall? Because honestly, if you're gonna live a secret life, maybe don't post hints about it on Facebook like you're begging to get caught. If you discover something this explosive about your partner, especially if they've already shown violence, your first move isn't revenge or exposure. It's getting safe. Because apparently, some men would rather be murderous than honest. Alicia's oldest daughter graduated college without her mom cheering. Her son started university without his biggest supporter. Her youngest will pick out a prom dress without the woman who should have been most excited. All because Marcus Lofton decided his shame was more important than her life. What do you think? Could Alicia have survived this? Or was Marcus always going to choose violence over accountability? Let me know in the comments. And subscribe, because we need to keep talking about the real cost of these dangerous secrets. Until we hold these men accountable for their deception, before it turns deadly, we'll keep losing women like Alicia Lofton. And that's something none of us should accept.
So I just want you to know you will never win. And I want you to think about this for the rest of your life.